Hi everyone. I recently published a two-part blog post about overstimulation and what that means for me personally as a highly sensitive person. How I feel overstimulation, maybe some certain times that I notice it getting heightened. I realize that overstimulation for me is actually harder to deal with, to manage, to sit with, and remain present with in a way that I can learn from more than any other feeling or emotion. So I've talked about anger in the past, sadness. I've gotten to the point, it wasn't always easy, where I can generally sit with it now, but overstimulation is really hard for me because I guess if I think about it, it really kind of ramps up all of that. It ramps up my anger, more irritability, and fear, and maybe some sadness in there too. And so it kind of brings all of those difficult emotions together. So this weekend I had an opportunity to explore my overstimulation, and it's a very privileged situation that I experienced it within, and so I acknowledge and respect that. But I got to go to a Shinedown concert, and I've recently discovered Shinedown. Well, I shouldn't say discover. I've known a couple of their songs here and there, but I always kind of thought of them as like super hard rock, heavy metal. And while my husband likes that kind of music, I don't. And I think honestly, if it's too heavy, I've noticed that I guess grates on my nerves a little bit, and I think that kind of coincides with my high sensitivity. So I recently discovered that while they're hard rock, they're not really heavy, and I've come to discover that I really, really like their music. I like their sound, I like their message, I like their energy. And so it was nice because they are now one of two musical artists that my husband and I enjoy together. Other than that, we kind of have our own musical tastes. So it was nice that we got to go to the concert together. First date night that we've had in quite a long time, so that was nice. It was nice that we got there early, and once we got to the front gate, we walked right in. There was really no line at that point. There were not a lot of people inside the gates yet, so it was nice. We could kind of walk around, scope out food. We got our chairs for the lawn, and we picked a nice spot with some space. And the last concert we went to, we were late, and we were squeezing between people, and we were basically crunched into a tiny spot the whole time, and it was very uncomfortable. So I guess my anxiety was a little bit heightened going in because of that past experience. I wanted to make sure that we got there early and got our spot, so we did. It was great. We got to sit and kind of relax and just take in the sights and the sounds, and we got to go get some food. And I was settling in, and I started noticing as more and more people came in, I was starting to feel that anxiety. Just more movement, more sound, more people, so more eyes potentially on me at any given moment. And I don't mean that to sound like arrogant or anything. It's not anything like that. It's just that, people watch people. And, for me, there has been this tendency to overthink about how people are thinking about me. What are they saying about me? That internal spinning thought about just how I'm being perceived. So I think that was in the back of my mind. And so as the first opening act went on, John Harvey, I had not been super familiar with him, but he does have good music. I liked his songs. But I was hit really hard by that, concert volume of music. And because I don't go to a lot of concerts. And so that really spiked my anxiety. And because, you literally feel it in your body. And as I tried to tune in, I mean, it was like there was a drum inside my chest and the guitar vibrating every nerve in my body, and I felt it. And so, and my ears, of course, are very sensitive as well. So all of that, it took me a little bit to really kind of settle in and become accustomed to it. And I think, in a way, my nervous system kind of numbed itself a little bit, to acclimate. And I wouldn't say I ever got fully super relaxed comfortable, but I was able to manage it better. I still struggled with tension, physical tension. I struggled throughout with kind of coming and going in my mind. In the past, one of my, I think, coping mechanisms, like that I went on autopilot, or it feels kind of like being in a fog, or I kind of say behind a veil, where I'm there, but I'm not there. I'm functioning, I'm talking, I'm interacting, I might be laughing, I might be enjoying myself. But then at the end, I reflect and I'm like, it's all kind of hazy out. And so I found myself kind of going back and forth throughout. I tried to come back into my body, take some gentle breaths into my nose, exhale long and slow out through my mouth, and relax my body, and pick a focus point in terms of something visual. While it was frustrating for me because I wanted to be there to enjoy the music, and so it was hard for me to be seeing myself struggle to get out of that autopilot mode. But at the same time, I'm improving because, as I said, even maybe a year ago when I still hadn't really known what this was and what these overstimulating situations were doing and how I was coping, I would go through pretty much the whole thing on autopilot. And then I would feel sad after, feeling like there was something I had missed out on, something I hadn't really enjoyed the experience. And so the fact that I could kind of get a break from that autopilot and come back even for a split second, I want to acknowledge that. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the hard work I've done. In addition to that, there's the emotional overstimulation, because Shinedown is one of very few musical artists that I feel a connection to. Their messages, the messages in their songs, where they're honest about their own struggles, and that it's okay. And they also have the songs that provide so much hope. And there's something I really connect with in that on an emotional level. And so for me, there's this desire to want to connect with them in person, personally, get to know them, get to learn about them and from them, and just connect with them on a soul level, is what I say. And I think it's because they're just a similar wavelength, or vibration or frequency, whatever you want to call it. I think it's just some sort of soul energy that we can't really measure. And so there's this sense of loss after, of not having that opportunity of, connecting personally with these people. And just the emotional vibration of the music itself and the words and their spirit and energy that they put into it. Connecting with that is a visceral emotional experience. And the lead singer, Brent Smith, at one point started talking about how, many of you in the audience may be going through struggles right now, and it's okay. And many of you may be in a really good spot right now, and that's okay too. And, he started talking about lifting each other up and helping each other and noticing when someone needs you and being there. And I started crying because I started feeling all of the pain and suffering that I've been through, all of the hard work that I've done, all of the people in the world that are suffering and I can't help. And, it brings all of that emotion up. And the next day I was very drained. I was very tired. I was sad. I was kind of melancholy. I was a little numb from all of that overstimulation. And I wanted to make this video the day after. And timing, it just didn't work out. And I'm glad, because I had time to get in some exercise with some uplifting, positive music, and afterward I felt in a much better space. And then as time continued to go on, I noticed that I was starting to connect with the lessons that I had learned that were there, and I just hadn't touched on them yet. And because I'd had that space and that time, they were starting to pop up as little intuitions or realizations. And I started, connecting different aspects of my inner work and my experience. So I'm glad I had that time to reflect and to separate, in a sense, from the emotional, visceral part of it, because then my intuition can come through and help me process and learn from it. And toward the end, as they were winding down, Brent Smith, and at one point also one of his opening acts, Jelly Roll, who also has some really great music, they both talked about how music is medicine. And I never really thought about that before. I mean, it really hit home for me because I think, in a sense, that's a reason why I connect with their music. It validates, the struggles of people who have, mental health issues that they're working through, and you realize that you're not alone and it's okay. And then they also have the hopeful music that, you can get through it. And, I thought about that the day after the concert, as I was decided that I needed to do something to kind of settle myself. So I got on the exercise bike and I put on some Andy Grammer, who is also another musical artist that I really deeply connect with. His music and his messages and his honesty. He also is very honest about, struggles with mental health, and then also provides the hopeful side of it and perspective. Both of those artists, when I say artists, I say all of them. I know they have a team and they have, it's not just the singers, it's all of them. And so a lot of their songs bring in this perspective of life is about more than, what our society puts value on, and, material and money and just success and progress. But, when you get down to it, really what's of value is what's in your heart, how you share it with other people. And that helps bring me back and recenter myself. And so Andy Grammer's music was able to, along with the exercise, was able to kind of help me get out of that funk and start rebalancing and learning from my experience. As I have explored my darker sides, the things that scare me, that I've always wanted to avoid or push away, as I've started exploring those and learning from them, and they get a little less scary and easier to manage. And I've noticed that it's easier for my intuition to come through, and that reassuring voice, and that just knowing that it'll be okay, or, oh, I need this right now. And a lot of times for me, that comes through as a mantra, an affirmation, whatever you want to call it. The one that's been helping me a lot lately is no expectations. I surrender to this moment. I surrender to what is. And it helps me, number one, it helps me step out of my spinning thoughts, which are usually around planning and figuring something out, how I'm going to do something, what's going to happen, or worrying. I've been in a panic about, am I going to be able to pass this licensing exam I have to take in like over a year for my master's of social work? Those kind of things that are out of my control, or things that, I'm doing what I do have in my control. I'm doing the best I can. And so it helps me put that into perspective and kind of settle a little bit, um, and accept that, even if this moment isn't exactly what I want it to be, or that I'm here, I'm doing the best I can. If I can just accept and be here the best of my ability, I will actually, the answers will come if I need them, or I'll be in a better, calmer place to get through whatever it is I'm trying to get through. I'd love to hear from you if you feel comfortable sharing. Do you experience overstimulation, and how do you experience it? What kind of situations do you notice it in, and what have you found to help you through it? Um, I share my experience with you in hopes that it helps. I hope it does, and I know that I can learn a lot from everybody else too. So um, I'm open to learning from you and see kind of what you've found to help you through that. So yeah, if you want to go check out my blog post about overstimulation, myhighlysensitivelife.com. If not, I will have something again soon for you, as soon as I can, with grad school and 2 kids and work and changing jobs and, life. So until next time, thank you so much. I really do appreciate your time.